All right. Hey, thank you, Paula. Okay, so Erica Hatfield, State Director. It is April 25th. We are in the last stretch of our legislative session, so we can start off talking about that. Oh, wait, no, we have Jonathan Viad on, our regional director. So let's start with Jonathan from a national perspective, and then we'll get to state business.
I can always wait if you want to get to state business first.
Nah, go ahead, go for
Okay.
it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good to be back with the Texas team. Hope you all are doing well. Actually, nice that Erica is back at the helm and not asking me to lead this call like last week. No, I'm only kidding. I enjoyed stepping in last week for you, Erica, and hope that everybody that was out at Patriot Academy had a great time. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to be there myself. As far as the national update is that the Texas team is keeping me busy. All y'all Texans are just keeping me busy. No, the focus obviously for us has been trying to get as many people out to the How Many More rally. We've been trying to send as many email blasts, text blasts, not just to Texas. We're trying to get other people from other states there to be with you. Obviously, Texas has to lead, and we know that Texans love to lead, but we want to try to get as many people there as possible. So I know I'm actually really excited because we do have some people from, I know, Illinois that are coming, some people from Arkansas, some people from Oklahoma, Tennessee, and hopefully more and more will be able to be there on Saturday at the How Many More rally. And I hope to see all of you there as well. And if you haven't been sharing it with other Republican groups or other political groups that you're part of, I encourage you to do so. I think we talked about that a little bit last week for those of you that were on the call last week, but please try to get the word out there. Even if you can't be there yourself, try to encourage some other people to go. We also sent out an email. We talked last week about a bus in Joanne's area in the, I think it's the New Braunfels, there was somewhere else area. I'm forgetting Joanne. So there's a bus coming from there. I know there's still seats on that. And Moms for America has chartered two buses, one in the Houston area and one in the McAllen area. We sent out an email earlier today letting people know. And if you take them up on that bus, the bus is free, and you get a free T-shirt. So how about that? So if you're in the Houston area or the McAllen area, definitely want to
or
check
the
out
San
that.
Antonio area.
Or the San Antonio area. Thank you, Joanne. There was somewhere specific that you said, and I just
Bulverde Spring Branch is
Bulverde.
where the bus
Oh,
is
Spring
leaving.
Ranch. That's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
north of
Thank
San
you.
Antonio.
There you go. So those are the three areas that we've got buses. However you get there, I hope that you'll be there on Saturday. We'd love to have you there. As far as other states' business, last week the Oklahoma team was able to successfully remove the sunset clause from their commissioner selection bill. So we're incredibly proud of the Oklahoma team. And then today, the other non-COS legislation that they were supporting, which was to remove Oklahoma from ERIC, passed in the Senate. So it passed the House, passed the Senate. It's now going to the desk of the governor there in Oklahoma. Really just a tremendous job by the Oklahoma team. We're proud of them for all of their hard work. The other thing I wanted to share with everyone is Iowa. I wanted to give you an update. You may have seen, I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, that we put out that we were expecting a floor vote in the House. And ultimately, that floor vote did not take place. And the reason for that is Representative Winshittle, who is their House whip, whipped the votes, and they didn't have the votes on the House side. So they decided not to bring it up for a vote because they didn't have the votes. They're continuing to work on it. There's a chance that session is running out. The time is running out there. There is a chance that we could get a Senate floor vote, and we think we have the votes there. Not sure, though. But I will say, don't be discouraged because Iowa is one of those states where it's a 2-year session. So even if we're not able to get the floor votes in the House and the Senate this year, we can come back next year and pick up right where we left off and just need to get the floor votes on the House and the Senate, which gives us more time to work on legislators and things of that nature. Unfortunately, it has been an uphill battle there because I believe the GOP chairwoman, Tamara Scott, is one of the John Birch Society Eagle Forum acolytes, and they are just doing some damage to us in that state. So if you would, please continue to pray hard for the Iowa team as we continue to try and work as hard as we can to get those floor votes. But please pray for the Iowa team. They're doing everything that they can. North Carolina, we had a rally there in Raleigh last week. It was well attended. I don't think I heard much as far as progress being made on the Senate side, but I know they're continuing to work hard there. So please pray for the North Carolina team, and hopefully we'll be able to get it through the Senate. As you may recall, we're already through the House in North Carolina, so we just need to get through the Senate. The last thing that I will mention, well, I should also say thank you to everyone that has been making phone calls in the Telepatriot missions to try and get people to the rally on Saturday. We made a lot of progress. We were able to complete the mission, I believe, to calling people in Austin, and now we're going to do the rest of Travis County and a couple of other surrounding counties there to try and get people out there. So thank you for helping out with that Telepatriot mission. We really appreciate that. And the last thing that I'll mention is for those of you in the past states Slack workspace, if you didn't see the post that I shared yesterday morning, a friend of ours, Steve Dace, who's an endorser of Convention of States, was our last guest on COS at Home. Many of you went to see his movie Nefarious. He wound up back in the hospital on Friday. He flew out to Rochester, New York for an event there with Moms for Liberty, and ended up running 104 fever, wound up in the hospital, and he was there Friday night by himself. His wife couldn't even stay with him because the hospital was just overrun and short-staffed. He was able to be discharged on Saturday. Now he's home and he's resting, but he shared the spiritual experience that he had while he was there in the hospital. And the message is just perfectly timed, in my opinion, because I think a lot of us are losing hope, and he addresses that based on his experience and what he felt like in the hospital. I can't do it a lot of justice, but all I can say is I highly recommend that you listen to it. If you'd like me to share the link in the Texas Slack workspace, I'd be happy to do that. I know Joanne has listened to it, and I'm sure Joanne could testify. It's just an incredible testimony from our dear friend Steve Dace, and I would just highly recommend that you take a few minutes and listen to that. Then, unless there are any questions, Erica, that's it for me as far as a national update. I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, any questions? Comments? We've got so much to talk about, huh? So let's first talk about SGR 52. I got a text message just like 10 minutes before we joined the call from Cindy, and she said, so Paul Gregory just found Cody, the suit. He's at Steve's prayer service tonight with us. He said he's not worried at all about our bill and is confident that it will go through. We'll call you later this evening and update you. So that's the newest of the newest that I hear. Although I know that Mike Deffendahl, I know that you're like, don't want to believe it until you see it, right?
So, do I like it when they say it's good? Sure,
but reserve.
I know.
Yeah, but trust but verify.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I see that there's a state affairs committee meeting tomorrow. I see there's still a bunch of HBs in there. That should be the last round of HBs, because anything that's still an HB that hasn't gone anywhere, yeah, that's probably dead. So I kind of concur with what the text that you had shared earlier on Slack that said, yeah, if we're getting the blow off next week, then we start putting the screws to them.
Yeah. So what Mike means by HBs is that the House will take care of the House bills first before they hear the Senate bills. So since we already passed the Senate with the SJR 52, that's what he means. Next week they're going to start picking those up, now that they're done with the House, not done, but basically done with the House bills. So they'll start picking up those Senate bills. So, any questions there?
So just 175, Senator Middleton's bill is in the same state as our 52. So they're both just kind of waiting in the pile.
175 is the banning taxpayer-funded lobbying, which we would love to see pass. Any others?
What happened to Bill 20?
House Bill 20.
That's the border bill.
Yeah.
Border bill.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. House Bill 20.
So let's take a look at it. Hold tight.
I think it was still in state affairs the last I saw.
I'm going to share so everybody can learn how to do this so that
That's basically what Kelly Perry said was the only bill we have right now in the session on to do anything with the border. Even now, it's not great. It's better than nothing.
yeah. So in my search bar, I'm putting Texas TLO, Texas Legislature Online. And then I'll pick up this first link. And HB 20.
Yeah.
And of course, I have clicked bill number. Make sure I'm in 88th legislative session. Click go. And if you scroll down, you're going to see left pending in committee since 4/13. Not good, but still has some time maybe.
So the translation for everybody, that means we've had it's had its hearing. The committee they need to act on it. They need to act on it now for it to have any kind of hope to get to the House, be able to get to the Senate, and be able to get out of it. So they're not wrong that this weekend is the loud message to, if
get it done.
It's time to, as they say, shit or get off the can.
Yeah.
Fish or cut bait.
So yeah, so what we're doing this weekend is a good thing, and of course prayer too to get it passed and pushed through. We have 30 days left, or 30, 32, 33 days left of session.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, so you guys can see why everyone gets mad in the very beginning of the session as to why are you wasting time? Why are you taking days off? Why are you, because they didn't do full weeks in the very beginning, and they could have gotten a lot done. So,
they didn't want to get things done.
Yeah. So I'm hearing rumors, of course, that there's going to be a special session, and because they won't get things done. And when a special session happens, that means they have to start over again. Is that right, Mike Devendal? I think they have to start over again.
No, there's two important rules for special sessions. One, each special session is its own session. So every time the clock resets on everything. Actually, there's three important rules. The second rule is 30 days. And the last is nothing gets done unless the governor wants it to get done. Literally, you can't work on it if the governor doesn't put it out there. So if it's not a priority, if the governor has to go to special session for, they can't bring it up. So if it's not a priority to the governor, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about how many more, about this weekend, since we're on that topic. So howmanymore.com. Hopefully you all have gone out there, and if you are going, hopefully you have RSVP'd with this button. Hopefully you're sharing it on social media everywhere that you possibly can. And this is Mark's newest video. Is that right? Newest 4 hours ago. So let's listen to what he's got to say.
Hey guys, Mark Reckler here. And this week on Saturday, I have a special ask for you. See, you're in Texas, and I'm in Texas, and we love Texas, and we love the United States of America. And you and I both know that there's an existential crisis on our southern border. There's a humanitarian crisis. There's a national security crisis. We got to ask ourselves, how many more? How many more young girls are we going to allow to be sold into sexual slavery? How many more fentanyl deaths are we going to allow in our country? One every 7 minutes right now. Probably one happening as you're watching this. How many more are we going to allow? We're going to have a rally. We're going to answer that question with this, with zero. We're not going to allow any more. We're going to gather at the state capitol this Saturday. That's the 29th from 1 to 4 p.m. I'm going to be there. I need you to be there with me. Ted Nugent's going to be there. Laura Logan's going to be there. Former commissioner of the Border Patrol, Mark Morgan's going to be there. Jason Jones is going to be there. And the only thing that's going to be missing if you don't come is you. We're going to put the demand on our elected officials to do the right thing, to stop the crisis at the border. You got to come. You got to go to howmanymore.com, RSVP, get registered. Come say hello to me. I'll see you Saturday, 1 to 4 at the Texas State Capitol.
So pick that up. I think Jonathan put that in the Slack channel, so start sharing that as well. With that being said, any questions? It's gonna be on the South Steps.
Just a comment, Erica. Last Saturday we had a meeting in Harris County, presented COS, but I also had the speaker Kelly Perry talk
That's
about
right.
the border.
Yeah.
And it was quite enlightening. Just to share just a couple of things what she said, just for the rest of it, because Nancy was there and Ron was there. So the very first thing started out with is that now they have lockdowns about twice a week in their town, where they are told to hunker down in their house, sometimes as much as 5 hours, because there are either like drug dealers or aliens, and there's high-speed chases and stuff going on directly through their town. And this is on the Texas side, right? So twice a week, they're basically in prison in their house, holding their guns, the front door and the back door, making sure that nobody comes in or threatens them. And this is what the situation is. And then they said also the schools, when in the school, they're quite happy if they actually have 3 days in a row when they don't have to have this lockdown. So it's affecting the schools at least once or more a week as well. And they've had illegal aliens and drug dealers walking through the school. It's quite common. So just to let you know, it's a very big problem when you bring it down to sort of the personal level outside of what Mark was saying. It's affecting everybody's lives down there.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for hosting Kelly Perry and having that meeting, y'all. Can you tell us about how many people showed up?
Not enough.
It wasn't enough, but we had probably, would you say, Nancy, about like 15?
That sounds
something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
And it's a good start. So, it always,
But
go ahead.
One thing I can say that actually a couple of the people showed up, and that's the ones I gave presentation to in Beaumont, and the two of them came from the Patriot Group, and they're from Beaumont, and they came originally the very first talk I had a few weeks before then in Beaumont. I met them, and then they came to this talk.
Oh, nice.
And I know that they are going to be going to the rally in Austin, and I told them to stretch that. So I think we've got two people there who are going to get more active.
Good. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having that meeting. Don't get discouraged. 15 is a good number for a start. Okay, so keep that up. Any other comments? All right. Let's see. Thursday at the Capitol, if you can show up, that's when they're going to hear the hypersexualizing children, that bill. And so we have I've activated our Capitol Brigade. They said that they're going to be there, but if you're retired and you can show up, Philip and I will be there on Thursday, only because he has work, but it's good timing. So God is good. And
Erica, on that note, they're wanting everybody to wear red for that Thursday morning deal.
okay, thank you, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
School choice. I find it very interesting. I got a text on my way home yesterday, just basic questionnaire about my state representative. And that, because he's not for school choice. And so I think some of these representatives are getting pressured by Governor Abbott because, that's his priority. So um, we'll see how that works out. Let's see. Election action. So Tom Bartel is not on the call right now. He's at a property tax event tonight, but he is leading our first ever campaign. So we are supporting Shelby Williams for the May election. It is a nonpartisan race because it is a city council race, but it'll be our first try. So we're going to be learning as we go, but hopefully we'll be able to do that more often going forward. Let's see. I was going to share screen so you guys can kind of see.
No, my people.
Say that again. Okay. Well, anyways, so we created this page, Shelby Williams, Plano City Council. Basically, we said he's a strong supporter, strong conservatives, running re-election in Plano City Council. What's not here is anything about his opposition, and his opposition is LGBTQ+. I think he's a physician and helps with transition. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, we believe he's going to win, but still we want to make sure that we get people out to vote so that they know that there's a May election. And so that's this. And so we're going to be sharing that. And Tom is also organizing some block walking as well as telepatriot calls. And talking about telepatriot calls, we are still making phone calls for this Saturday. So all the help we can get to get that done. Let's see. Let me take a look real quick how many we have left to call. Telepatriot. $6,683. Team has no missions right now. Okay, so they got it all done, huh? Jonathan. You still with us, Jonathan?
Sorry, I was putting my daughter to bed. What was that?
The telepatriot mission is done.
It shouldn't be.
I'm seeing, so when I click on it, it says your team has no missions right now. Please contact your state director.
Shelby mission, not the how many more mission.
Yes, for the how many more mission.
The how many more mission is still going. That's under national team. It shows me 6,683 calls still to be made.
He's talking about the Shelby mission.
The Shelby mission.
No, I'm talking about the national team mission. It's telling me. I'm sorry, she's supposed to go to bed, and here I am. I guess you can't see it. But anyway,
well, she was in bed a second ago, but she's out of bed.
Yeah.
Go to sleep, you.
My fault for asking you to talk on the call.
No, it's not. I'm tapping it, and it's bringing up. Yeah, 130 have been made of the 6,813. So it's still coming up on mine.
Okay. All right, telepatriot mission. So you can still make telepatriot calls, and like I said, we're going to be doing one for Shelby as well after Saturday. Let's see what other we have. Y'all heard Tucker Carlson got fired? Everybody's up to date on that one. So that's basically, I think it's good news. Because I think Fox tanked yesterday big time. So another news is Darren, do you want to talk about the Sammy challenge?
That again? Say that again?
Do you want to talk about the Sammy award?
Yes, so sure, I can do that. We're going to be at Sammy's place with her family on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Actually, let me grab this real quickly. We just got it in. We are going to be beginning with an annual award that is called the Sammy Hammers Legacy Award. Easy for me to say. And it involves a challenge coin that looks like this. Hopefully you can kind of see that's the front side. And then on the back side is a reproduction of Edna's portrait of Sammy in her wonderful red, white, and blue hat and regalia. So number one, each of these are numbered. Number one, we will be presenting to Sammy on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock as the first recipient of this award. So the intention of this award is to recognize someone who has been innovative, has demonstrated leadership, and has committed themselves in a great way to the service and the advancement of not only the physical, but also the spiritual side of COS Texas, as she has done over and over and over again. So we will be honoring her on Sunday for that. And then from there forward, we will be selecting a COS volunteer activist that will be receiving that award on an annual basis.
Awesome. I'm excited for that. So I'll be there. Anybody have anything else? Henry? Oh, I know what I can talk about. Hold on.
Nope.
I wanted to say something. Why don't you go ahead, Henry, if you don't mind, tell us how the Patriot Academy was last week. Henry.
Okay. The Patriot Academy deal was it was awesome. That's about the best word to use. But we had several COS people that helped volunteer to put on the ribbon cutting ceremony deal Saturday, the grand opening deal, and everything went pretty smoothly. You know, we had some high winds and stuff that kind of caused a little bit of problems with some of the canopies and stuff, but overall it was a pretty good time. And as far as the 3-day shooting course and that, I think we all ended up learning quite a bit and did pretty good with that. I know I did. I was very, very satisfied with the way things went with it, and I would definitely recommend anybody that is interested in carrying a firearm and that they would attend these training classes. So other than that, that's really all I've got about it to say about it. It's a worthwhile deal. It's very educational, very informative.
I also have on my list here to talk about parades. So while we have you unmuted, Henry, we are looking for a place for our float to attend a parade. So if you guys know of any parades that are happening in the future, reach out to Henry and book it. Let's see. And then Ellen, you were there last week. You want to say a few words about last week? You did awesome. You studied.
It was a wonderful experience. It was great to be with everybody. The training was excellent. I just can't say enough good. They treated us like kings and queens. And I'm also gonna say that I would recommend it to anybody. And I came back and took my LTC on Sunday, so now I got to wait on my card.
Oh wow, that was quick. Did you already have that booked beforehand?
Yes, yeah, I booked it a few weeks ago.
Okay, good. And Darren, you have your hand raised, and you were there too. Do you want to say anything about that before you make a comment or say something?
Sure. So last week was phenomenal. I'm going to try to find a different word that's extraordinary that Henry didn't use. The firearms training fundamentals course is fantastic. The only other thing that I would probably add to that, if you look at their website that's posted now, but when they confirmed it while we were there, they will be offering that fundamental handgun course to teachers for free. Now it will be on a availability basis, but if you know teachers that might be interested, then a great opportunity for them to be able to get that course when it's available, when they have some slots available in their courses for free. So just kind of mention that. But other than that, it's fantastic course. I would highly recommend it. I'm not sure. We didn't do a lot of the constitutional training portion, which their regular courses will include. So I think that will be an extension and even better. I'm not sure I could do a 5-day course.
I did not. I know.
Quite frankly. So doing it in 3 days was very intense. Maybe spreading it out over 5 and adding the Constitution stuff would make that a little bit easier. But just be aware, this is a very intense course, both physically and mentally. So, but it is phenomenal. The instructors were fantastic, and really made it suitable for you coming out of there better than what you went in, and that's really the goal. So
I agree with you, Darren. I don't think I would have made it more than 3 days.
Absolutely. The other thing that I do want to mention, I know this is not a bill that COS is proffering, but tomorrow the House will hear HB 11 for a floor vote. And the critical part about House Bill 11 is that they've inserted an amendment that is going to the floor that will actually repeal section 21.042 of the Texas Education Code, which gives the State Board of Education oversight of any rules that the State Board Education Committee makes. And so if they repeal that section, then the State Board of Education will not be able to do what they just did with the librarian rules that the state board just overrode. So call your representative and tell them to oppose the repeal of that section, because we want the State Board of Education elected officials making those choices, not some bureaucrat at TEA and State Board Education Committee. So I'm done.
On that. And is there normally there's a link where you can put your testimony. Do they have that one for HB 11?
They did during committee. I don't know that they do now, because this will be the floor vote tomorrow.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, they won't.
So it's scheduled for the floor vote. So we're down to the last minute. We need to make sure that we're telling representatives, do not repeal that section. We believe in elected officials making those determinations, not bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Is the amendment already in that bill?
Yes, it is. It came out of committee that way.
So they have to amend to strip that out of it.
Absolutely. Either that or vote the whole damn thing down.
They won't go to the Senate. Like the Senate won't let that happen, I don't think. But anyways, you never know.
I don't trust any of them. So
I know. I think I hear a common theme. Let's play this one real quick. Patriot Academy. Hold on a second.
Have you noticed how many freedom-loving, hard-working Americans believe that America's best days are behind us? Have you felt that way? I know it's been a question discussed around our dinner table, and I'll admit that in many important ways, the American culture is crumbling. What started as just cracks in the foundation, in fact, the strongest national foundation in history, but those cracks were ignored for decades while the poison of Marxism and critical race theory were poured into the minds of the nation's youth, and now it's spilled out into the streets, and it seems like every major institution in the country, from the press to education to corporate America, even too often the pulpit, has given way to the revisionist. They bought the lies about this nation. what was once the wealthiest, most powerful, most free, most benevolent nation the world has ever known. Indeed, America was the envy of the world. Well, that has now become a place where we've allowed our school children to be taught to hate their own nation, to hate each other, and even to hate themselves. The results have been devastating, but I, for one, do not believe that is the end of the American story. You see, the principles of liberty, that's not what failed us. Our leaders failed us, and we sat on the sidelines watching it happen. But now there's this awakening that is happening all across the nation, from sea to shining sea. Patriots of every age, income, religion, race, all over the country, they are ready to do their part to restore the American Constitution, to restore the timeless principles of liberty on which America was founded. Most patriots know something needs to be done, and they're willing to help, just don't know what to do. Well, we here at Patriot Academy, we know what to do, and we're doing it. More importantly, we're raising up a new generation of patriots to do it. While some look at the rubble right now and they choose to give up, we at Patriot Academy, we look at that rubble and we choose to rebuild. Constitution coaches in every community across America, to teaching candidates to run for local office, to raising up young leaders steeped in constitutional and biblical values, Patriot Academy is equipping citizens to do their part in restoring America. Patriot Academy campus, strategically placed in the heart of Texas, is ground zero for a new birth of freedom, so the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Arriving at the Patriot Academy campus, you will first be greeted by a mock-up of the Lexington Green. That's where it all began on April 19th, 1775. And every visitor to the campus will meet Pastor Jonas Clark, Captain John Parker, and citizen soldier Levi Preston. In those three statues, we will be reminded that no matter what walk of life we come from, each of us has a pivotal role to play in preserving and passing the torch of freedom. Constitution coaches from across the nation will be able to come to our campus and learn and get their training in an exact replica of Independence Hall, the cradle of liberty, the very place where both the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were created. Our Center for Constitutional Defense will be housed in a mock-up of Monticello, providing both intellectual and physical training for defending the Bill of Rights with rapid response media to impact the debate on a national scale. We provide on-site housing for visitors and patriots attending our weekend trainings, as well as a rich campus life for young leaders chosen for our one-year leadership intensive. These 18 to 25-year-olds will build a strong foundation in leadership skill, constitutional grounding, and biblical worldview. Patriot Academy gives them a challenging, inspiring, and iron-sharpening, iron-type environment to discover their passion, plan their purpose, and learn how to effectively execute that plan in whatever area of the culture God has called them. And we teach them how to be active biblical citizens for the rest of their lives. With the American story woven throughout every part of the campus, Patriot Academy will continue our tradition of bringing history to life through entertaining, educational, practical application. Even the Welcome Center will give visitors the chance to experience all the rich history found in the rotunda of the United States Capitol, while the mock legislative chambers will give students of all ages the opportunity to see and live the inner workings of our constitutional republic. This is the hour that our generation gets to stand guard at the watchtower of freedom. The time is now to make the investment of purpose, of time and resources necessary to preserve the torch of freedom and pass her intact to the next generation. If you know in your heart that you want to be part of the solution, part of the rebuilding, then visit patriotacademy.com today to learn more.
So it was super cool that all of the COSers that, you know, DC and above, they were invited to go this last week to be the guinea pigs for the handgun training on this campus. And then on Saturday, it was the groundbreaking for the campus. And, you know, Patriot Academy always utilizes Convention of States patriots for to be guinea pigs for everything that they do. So, that's a cool benefit. And I was talking to my boss today, and he was like, "How?" I remember, Eric, I was thinking about you this weekend because we drove up through Fredericksburg, and I remember you talking about Patriot Academy, but I didn't know it was on that highway. And I saw on Saturday, I saw that big festivities going on, and was that where you were, and how did you get to be a part of that? And so anyways, I want you guys to be aware of the close relationship we have with Patriot Academy. I think really every DC, if possible, should host a biblical citizenship, be a coach. And then Rick Green also said, after you do biblical citizenship, then the next course that you should do with your group or with your home team is what's the Kirk Cameron one called? Fireside Camp. Help me out,
Left
guys.
Behind.
No, he had. Yes, he did Left Behind, but Kirk Cameron
American Covenant.
The American Covenant. Yeah, he wrote a book called The American, and then he has the videos to go with it. So that's a course on its own that you can do with your groups. So I highly recommend that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Nancy, you did biblical citizenship in your home. Is that right?
No, I'm doing the American Covenant.
American Covenant. Okay.
Yeah.
You're still doing that?
Yes, it's a slow process.
So Patriot Academy has tools to help you with everything, and so I would love to bring one of their trainers on the call and share with you guys how we can utilize those tools to if you're not quite sure that you want to start off as a district captain, but you are willing to share those videos, and that could jumpstart your group to become a district captain. I think that would be cool as well. So yeah, let's see, we have time left. I see Russ is on the call. Russ, would you want to give an update on your precinct chair situation?
Oh yeah, sure. I thought I was going to sneak in and just listen.
I try to pull in people when they show up. So so Russ has an interesting story. He ran for precinct chair in Collin County. And so, tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask me about speaking to the Christian oil field men's group over in Fort Worth. That was fun.
Okay, you can talk about that too.
Okay, but as it relates to precinct chair, so I was contacted because my precinct is open. There is no chair at the moment, and it's a relatively small precinct. And they said, we see you voted Republican. We see that you served as a precinct clerk and a precinct judge. Do you want to be a chair? And I said, well, why not? Sure. And then I got a call from a lady who vetted me over the phone, asked me a lot of questions, essentially around my values. And I'm sure we have really no differences in values, so that was fine. And then I got on a call a few days later with 3 people. It was a Zoom call, and they asked me questions about why do you want to do this, and do you want to do things like would you block walk, and would you support candidates? Do you have candidates in mind? Things like that. And at some point, I told them I had block walked because it's really my only experience block walking. I said, yeah, I block walked for Convention of States in Collin County. And then they started digging into that and asked several questions. And one of them just openly said, well, I don't agree with Convention of States. I don't think that that's the right way to go. And I said, okay. I said, well, you're entitled to that opinion, but I'd suggest that maybe you should learn more about it. And then it really went downhill after that. Yeah, I pushed back a little bit, and two of them pretty much, just beat me up on the Zoom call with questions, and then went on to say, well, we see that you serve on the McKinney Planning and Zoning Commission. Do you know the mayor? And I said, well, not really. Well, he's corrupt, and went on to explain why they think that. And I said, no, I don't know that. And he may be, you may be exactly right, but I don't know that. So I'm not gonna say that. And, but really they got, that's really a side note. They got very agitated over convention of states. And it turns out what we found out is that at least two of the folks on that committee are John Birchers. And where we are now with it is, I'm told that, I was asked to write a letter to the group. First, I was asked to go up and at the next meeting and speak to the group, which I did. And
you even took a training too. They asked you to do a training.
I've been to three training classes. Just stuff nearby. It takes about an hour and a half each time, and so it wasn't that big a deal. But so I went in front of the group and spoke to him, explained to him that I thought maybe there was a misunderstanding. And my values probably equal their values. And, after going through training and after sitting through a couple of their meetings, I could see that, I believe that my values and my thoughts on direction for the Republican Party are probably aligned. So, should be a good fit. And, if there's any questions or misunderstandings, let's work them out. And apparently that wasn't good enough because they unanimously voted me down. And so where it stands now is I don't really see any way to go forward with this vetting committee. All I can probably do is just wait until end of the year and just run for the precinct since it's open. There's an election next May. So that's probably where it's going to go. Unless there's enough intervention in between now and then to have them reconsider. Because right now the fellow that runs the Collin County Republican Party is standoffish. He's not going to help. He's leaving it to the vetting committee.
So I want all of you to know is that when we say local, it's like that's the precinct is the smallest unit of the party, and even there we have our battles. And when Al said this is our 1776 2.0, it's at that level. That's where it begins, and that's where people rise up. And so filling up these precinct chair positions it's just so important. So anything that you guys can do to help, even if you can't do it yourself, then help us find people to do it. We have a methodology that we can use by utilizing our database, Convention of States database. So I can't do a recording of it because it shows, private information. So it's a one-on-one training. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. Mike Defendahl, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so the filing period for precinct chair applications to be on the next year's ballot should be starting in September. And the elections are not in May for precinct chair. It'll be at the primary in March. March. Primary is and that's usually only for contested precinct chairs. So if you file for precinct chair and nobody else files for your precinct in your party, well, then there's no election because you get it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And but I mean, you got to understand that they are willing to allow that precinct chair position to be empty for that long, that nobody I mean, he could block walk and he can do it still, out of goodness of his heart. but the fact that they, anybody else would be like, okay, I'm not helping this party, screw them. I'm not going to do it. Any other volunteer would say that, and we can't give up is what I'm wanting to say. And so Ray, thank you so much for stepping in and, and taking on that challenge.
Sure.
I know you didn't ask for it.
Well, it's okay. I mean, it worked. I think in the long run, it's going to work out.
It's a good story.
It's, yeah. It's built. It's certainly created some awareness to what some of the obstacles are, and also, what I've learned is, don't just assume people in the Republican Party are aligned with you. Don't just assume that.
All right, so tell us real quick about your oil and gas presentation.
Well, it was to the oil field. I guess it's called it's at the Petroleum Club in Fort Worth, but I think it's the oil field, Christian oil field organization. And it's a pretty large organization that's been around, I don't know, at least 50 years. And the group that was there, was probably about a dozen people. I was told that they've shrunk over time, and today sometimes there's 10 of them, sometimes there's 50 of them, but there was probably a dozen there or 15 of them there when John Van Campernoll and I went last week. So I basically did the Prezi, went through that, and we had discussion along the way. It was a relatively small group, and then I let John jump in whenever he wanted to, and just add color or answer direct questions that I couldn't answer, which were several actually, that I had to turn over to John, and then had to say, John, we're too old to know everything that you know about this. Because he knows a lot. It was really, it was fun listening to John. He did a really good job, but that was fun, and it was great. It was great to be motivated to go talk to folks I didn't know. It was good that my career path somewhat equals their career path, so that makes it easier to talk to folks when you're in that situation. But I've just got so much respect for John. He added so much color that the folks that were there were very engaged and learned a lot.
Yeah. All right, we have 4 minutes left. Henry, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, what I wanted to say to Russ is that he should still consider going to attend the CEC meetings there in Collin County and get to know some of the other precinct chairs and that. I personally have a lady in our county executive committee meetings that is from Pearland, and Pearland is just south of Houston, and they're kind of there's some a lot of, they're not JBSers, but they are the Phyllis Schlafly ones there. What's that?
Eagle Forum.
Yeah, the Eagle Forum group. And she was at first, she was very hardcore against me in that, and didn't want to have a whole lot to say or do with me in that. But I'd say over a couple of years time, we've gotten to know each other better and work together on stuff. And she's not quite as combative in that as what she was originally. So we just have to work with these people.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Yeah, and I agree completely, and I fully intend to go to the monthly meetings. It's only once a month between now and the end of the year, and by then we'll probably find that I'm the only guy on the ballot, and that'll be it. So agreed.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. 2 minutes left. Anything else? Forever hold your peace. go pee and go to the next meeting. The district captain meeting is after this one, the national meeting. So, you know, do what you got to do, and we'll meet you at that next meeting.